sister, my wife and my kids, cause they part of the team. I do this for all the naysayers and haters who made me one of the greatest. I know it kills you inside, that's why I do this for you. I do this for my father, who I've only seen from time to time in my dreams. I do this for you. I do this for my mother, who's finally clean, no longer a thing. I do this for you. I do this for my sister, my wife and my kids, cause they part of the team. I do this for all the naysayers and haters who made me one of the greatest. I know it kills you inside, that's why I do this for you.
I do this for the kids who sit a bit outside the mix, who maybe cope through humor just to fit in for a bit, who never let the world know when depression's setting in. To all of those who know you, that impression don't exist, and it ain't counterfeit, it's just a way to counter it. I'm living things I dreamed about, I still encounter it. It ain't something that a cigarette or alcohol can fix, but all because of it, I flipped it quick, went on to write some hits. This a success, off another breath. This the first step in searching to be nothing less than be the best in what you do to prove their strength in being you. Learn so much in chasing dreams that I never would in school. Depends on where your passion lie, just no passion never lie. Life presents distractions, but your actions have to fortify the things that you believe in. Have to scream it like a battle cry and leave the ones who didn't looking stupid while they're asking why. Couldn't lie, I really do this for the ones I love. Those who treat the music as a vice and lyrics like a drug. Those who need advice on how to lift their spirit high enough to break out of the box they make up lives they know aren't good enough. Just because it's how it is don't mean it's how it has to be. This is what the uninspired testifiers fail to see. Jealousy results from being that which others fail to be, and if it means you're not with me, that honestly sounds fair to me.
I do this for my father, who I've only seen from time to time in my dreams. I do this for you. I do this for my mother, who's finally clean, no longer a thing. I do this for you. I do this for my sister, my wife and my kids, cause they part of the team. I do this for all the naysayers and haters who made me one of the greatest. I know it kills you inside, that's why I do this for you.
Do this for my mother, she'll be working for the summer. Do this for my father, cause these days I often wonder what my life would have been like if I was not adopted. To grow up in a home where I was treated like a problem. I don't know, it's just a guess. Your guess probably good as mine. Lucky that I grew up in a home that wanted me to shine. Lucky that I grew up around some mountains we were taught to climb. Without that inspiration, I don't think that this would be my life. Do this for my friends who've scattered all across the country now. I'm out in Sweden walking back through life so I can write it down. Make a living off of sound, so crazy to say out loud. I'm the biggest thing since Travis Rice to come up out the town. Sorry, gotta stunt a little. Used to have my dreams belittled, but it's all a part of it. I know people's minds are fickle, lines between reality and dreams I blur like faded nights. Come up been so good for me, I wish that I could make it twice.
I do this for my father, who I've only seen from time to time in my dreams. I do this for you. I do this for my mother, who's finally clean, no longer a thing. I do this for you. I do this for my sister, my wife and my kids, cause they part of the team. I do this for all the naysayers and haters who made me one of the greatest. I know it kills you inside, that's why I do this for you.
Oh yeah, shout out to you guys. Shout out to my pops. I do this for you. Hey, we cut the countdown a little short. Just wanted to get the show started, y'all. We want to start. It's 9 p.m. on a Friday. I appreciate you guys being here. Sorry for such a late start, and sorry for all the delays. You guys know the deal. We got about 8 weeks in a row of UFC fights. So I spend all day doing analysis, giving my picks for the UFC. If you guys aren't aware, that's what I'm doing with my time. Shout out to Patreon and YouTube. If you're an MVP, you get picks to the UFC fights every single Saturday, so you know who's going to win. For you gamblers out there, you can't go wrong. And if you want to watch the fights, become an MVP, join the Discord server, you connect your app, and next thing you know, you can watch all the fights with me. That's all I'm saying. It's not bad. But if you want to see my grind and want to know what it's about, the minute you go to my page and you start looking at the content, it's bananas, bro. Look, I am creating UFC fights every single minute of the day. Like, I am doing this. And in between, I'll do a couple of hot sports takes, and then I'll get back to my grind of providing analysis on every single fight. How you bet on them is your business, but I'm providing an analysis. And just so you're aware, I did give away the main event for the fight night tomorrow. It's a free fight card. If you've never watched UFC, come hang out with us. You can learn a lot about fighting. I'm an MMA fighter, or at least I once was, once upon a time. And I'm very well versed in the game of fighting. I teach everybody who's watching how to do it. I used to teach for a living. I just got my W-2 sent to me from the martial arts studio that I worked in last January and February, and then I decided to do this full time instead of that. I was going to retire from the military and just teach martial arts for the rest of my life. I'm very good at it, very proficient, and I loved it. But being on the mat 18 hours a day or whatever, it was like 16 hours a day for $50,000 is just, it's a labor of love. It wasn't enough. It wasn't worth it. The juice wasn't worth the squeeze, and you get tired. My dog is barking. I apologize, you guys. I live a normal life. I'm a normal person. So speaking of a normal life and a normal person, apparently the entire Arkansas basketball team is living a very normal life, and they're very normal guys. But apparently they love one another. I want everybody to just know that it's okay to live an alternative lifestyle. I grew up with a brother who is homosexual, an older brother, and he did his thing. I didn't really notice any difference in the way we lived and grew up. I hope the teammates don't start shunning certain players. I saw Eric Musselman, the head coach of Arkansas, wants to leave. If you didn't hear, there's rumors that the players are involved in a lover's quarrel, and apparently there was somebody hooking up without somebody. I think there's somebody in the front yard. I hate to say this, but I got to go check the front yard at 9 p.m. I might have to find I don't answer the door without carrying. That's a whole nother issue. Nonetheless, here we are. We're going to try to talk about wide receivers for the next couple hours. If you got questions, you guys know the deal. If you're on TikTok, I can't see the chat while I'm talking to the screen because the chat keeps scrolling and I can't go back to it. So if you got a question about wide receivers or about the transfer portal, get on YouTube and throw it in. I got you guys. That's all I'm saying. It is Friday. It's time to celebrate. Tony Snell is not getting a contract. Nobody signed this bum. If you guys didn't know, Tony Snell, 9-year NBA veteran. Yeah. Not happening, bruh. He needs one more year to qualify for the premium healthcare plan. Guys, he has healthcare. He pays for it. It's normal. But at 10 years, it's a little better than the 3-year veteran healthcare. And he wants the 10-year mark. He needs to just relax. You didn't qualify for it. You are the 4th worst scorer on your G League team. There are multiple G League teams in the whole damn league, right? And he's not very good at it. And he's never been a good scorer, Rico. He's just a defender. Well, he's not good at that either. He's not in the league. And tell his wife stop buying Birkin bags and stop going on trips to Paris if you want me to feel sorry for him. But I don't believe anybody should be getting a handout. Pay your taxes. Pay for your health care. I pay for mine. Pay for my kids. Life is life. It is what it is. Shout out to the TikTok world. I got a kid down here writing 13 people in his live. He has no idea. Thousands of you watch these lives. I'm okay. My life is good. I had somebody talk to me today. You guys know I do high school film reviews. And in my high school film review, I do it by donation. You have to donate. So I've been going through my inbox, reaching back out to people who asked for high school reviews. And I'm just letting them know, hey, I didn't get to you. But if you want me to do your review, feel free to send a tip, send a donation to the channel, either on the Cash App or the Venmo. And if it's more than other people, I'm going first come, first serve. I'm going to the highest bidder. Whoever sends the most, I'll make a video for you. Every day, I pick 2 people. I make a video. You hit the lottery. Some people are paying $20. Some people are paying $50. Some people are paying $500. It all depends who paid the most that day. And if you put in a bid, it stays there forever. And eventually, your bid will be at the top. So I wrote that to a young man today, and he said, Rico, this is a scam. You're falling off. Your views are down. I need everybody to understand. Full disclosure. I'm not falling off. My priorities are straight. My views aren't down. I have decided to apply myself to other platforms that compensate me for my work. Shout out to YouTube. Shout out to Patreon. Shout out to Twitter. The inefficiency of TikTok to pay us for our views is frustrating. It's embarrassing. They've changed their pay model, and I'm being completely transparent. And most creators wouldn't be, but I am. There's a shift in ideology and a shift in effort, and I have zero desire to try to get views on TikTok. Max views on TikTok pays me $6,000 about a month. Max views. And when I say max views, I'm talking 1 million views a day, which is what my peak is. And without it, I'm making $1,000. Who cares? Completely insignificant, literally 5% of my income as a content creator. Everything else I get are from MVPs, subscriptions. Shout out to MVPs on YouTube. There's about 500 of you, or 600. And there's 600 on Patreon. 1,200 people out there believe in what we're doing. We'll take it, and we'll keep growing from there. We also have a Twitter. 3,000 people, a little over 3,000 started following it in the last couple of weeks. We'll keep growing there. I'm not worried about anything else. My life is good, y'all. I got to do taxes. This is the greatest thing I could have ever created. I'm so proud of myself. I'm proud of you guys for finding me, for believing in me, watching the podcast every day. The views are real. The support is real. But people who knock a hustle and don't understand what it is, they don't see me in front of this camera 16 hours a day grinding out the data and the research. I'm about to do a 2-hour show with you guys on wide receivers, and I won't miss a beat. I'm built for this. Not everybody's built like me, and I recognize that, and that's what bothers people. Insecurities bother people. My self-confidence, it infuriates you. It makes you feel uncomfortable. Oh, he's so full of himself. Oh, Rico, you need to stay humble. You're not that good. Dude, I love my content more than you ever could. I watch my videos more than you. I watch them on repeat, bro. I fall asleep to my own voice. I am Kanye. That's my mindset. If you don't think you're the greatest you've ever been, you're not built for this. You're never going to succeed. You got to believe in yourself, bro. I grew up in a world where you ask women to dance. You guys stand on the wall and hope she starts twerking on you. You guys get nervous and dance in a big circle with your boys. I have the confidence to walk across a dance floor and ask a woman to dance. And if she tells me no, I'm asking her friend and another friend and another friend. And I ain't stopping till I get someone, and then I get on the dance floor and I kill it. And then everybody in the room starts wondering, damn, I wish I would have danced with him. Damn, why didn't he ask me? I feel so stupid. I should have asked him. That's exactly how I feel about content creation. I don't care what it takes. I will create every video out there. I will be who I am. I will be great. And then one day they're all going to sit around and look at each other and go, damn, we missed it. We missed it. That guy was interested in us and we weren't interested in him. Damn, why couldn't we sign him? Why couldn't we get on that bandwagon? That's my mindset. And if you're not built like that, you'll never make it in this world. You won't make it in content creation. I'll tell you that. Don't give me any tips on how to get bigger. Don't give me any tips on how to get throughput and how to make revenue. I make more money than people with larger followings because I am a damn genius. And I've decided to apply myself to this. I tell you guys this all the time. There's a great manager at Burger King right now. She's amazing. She manages resources. She's maybe a district manager, he or she, doesn't matter. They're amazing. They've been at Burger King for 20 years, and they run the whole show. They're amazing at their job. There's somebody running a Costco right now. There's somebody running a Target right now, and they're amazing at it. If I decided to do that job, they would be obsolete. That is my mindset. I'm better than you at whatever the hell you do. If I decide to change professions tomorrow, I will be better than you. Real talk. I look at these guys. This guy once gave me a lecture. He was like, Rico, you know, I've done this for 78,000 hours. Bro, I do this for 78 minutes. I'm better than you. I'm sitting down talking to the player personnel from Boise State, Colorado. I'm talking to players every day. I'm consulting players on where to go in the transfer portal. I'm picking where they go. Why do you guys think I get these right? All these predictions. You think I'm guessing? I literally tell the player where to go. Put him in contact with the coaching staff. I'm not guessing at anything. If I don't give a prediction, I don't miss. Listen to what I just said. If I don't give a prediction, I don't miss. Because nothing I'm saying is a prediction. Nothing I'm saying is a guess. I am in the know. I am the source. I'm where the information comes from. And when you don't see me making videos all day, it's because I'm talking to the players and the coaches and the player personnel. And I keep it private. They reach out to me, yo, Rick, I appreciate you, man. Hey, thanks for reaching out. DMs are open on Twitter. They asked me to move to Twitter. The coaches did. I said, all right, I'll move to Twitter so they can talk to me, so they can get the players and the videos. I said, I feel you. But it can be as simple as, here we go. How about James Chaney? How about Coach Chaney from Colorado talking to me right here? How about Coach Chaney reaching out to me? That's a real talk. How about Aaron Philo's father reaching out to me just yesterday. Shout out to Rob. Or was it 9 hours ago? 9 hours ago. You guys don't understand. That's the all-time leading passer in Colorado history. That's how we get down over here. It's not a game. So when somebody says to me, Rico, you've fallen off. No, I've changed my priorities. TikTok views is not a priority for me anymore. Making clickbait shit ain't a priority. The only thing I'm going to post are high school film reviews. That's all I'm posting. I'll post everything else on YouTube. I don't care. Every hot take I got is on YouTube, is on Twitter. TikTok will be for high school film reviews. Let's talk about the transfer portal, though. Thank you guys for being here tonight. I'm going to talk about wide receivers. I have my chart in front of me. All it tells me is, have I talked about this player or not? Because I do multiple episodes. We're on episode 3 here. So when you guys look at the chart, I'm going to pull it up. You guys see the bar. You guys see the scrolling bar up here. Let me tell you something. The best available wide receivers and tight ends in the transfer portal, there's literally none. Benjamin Urasek, the tight end from Stanford, is left, but he's already going to go to Georgia once he qualifies. Once they get everything figured out, he's going to Georgia. Tanner Kozil backed out of going to Louisville. He's the Ball State. Huge-ass tight end. Decided not to go. Corey Dykes, the best tight end left in the portal. We'll see where he goes. Everybody else, problems, bro. I'm talking about DUIs, character concern, problems, or just not talented. And they're not going to be collegiate football players. On the wide receiver chart, there's maybe 5 guys that I can see signing anywhere. I'm letting you know. The people on that chart need to go JC right now. Need to start calling Division II programs. Scholarships are running out. You're going to get a partial. You're going to get a 12-month. Just keeping it real. But let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Looking at wide receivers right now, I've got it sorted by committed. Usually I do enrolled, but we're going to go committed. So the first guy up is Isaiah Bond. I have not talked about Isaiah Bond in previous episodes. I wanted to, but remember, this was the first Alabama player to jump in the portal after his head coach retired. And I went and read it, guys. Not only was Isaiah Bond surprised, but one of their offensive linemen, who was it? Ferguson, said we were tremendously surprised that Nick Saban retired. No shade, they're not mad, but he didn't give them a heads up. He didn't give the players a heads up. They didn't know it was coming. Isaiah Bond, state champion in the 100 and 200 meters while at Buford, played here in Georgia, watched him play every down. I thought he was great. You know what he reminded me of? And this isn't going to be a big shock to anybody, but he reminded me of Kareem Kelly. I don't know if you guys even know who Kareem Kelly is. Wide receiver, went to USC before Reggie Bush, just before that class. And Kareem Kelly with Kerry Colbert were at receiver. Kareem Kelly and Darryl Rideau were the fastest guys in Long Beach Poly. Kareem Kelly won the state 200 meter. Darryl Rideau won the state 100 meters. Very, very similar speed and skill set. Granted, Isaiah Bond has much more NFL upside than Kareem Kelly had at that time, but not really. They were about the same. They were superstar recruits. And one guy, Kareem Kelly just never became a household name and a star. But for me, the speed is there. This man is 5'11", 182. He's got 2 years of eligibility left. And how would you like to be one of the guys out there who caught a pass for one of the greatest one of the greatest touchdown receptions in the history of the school, to beat Auburn in a miracle in the Iron Bowl? And then you transfer. You go out there and you transfer. It's crazy. They're calling that play the grave digger. The grave digger or the grave differ? The grave digger. I think it's grave digger. Insane. Nonetheless, he's never really had a ton of stats. And Isaiah Bond, 48 receptions, 688 yards. He led the team in receptions, but not yards. Only 4 touchdowns. I think he was coming into his own at the end of the year. I still think he's a great receiver. Doesn't call back to Bower, right? Coach Kalen DeBoer shows up from Washington, tries to keep Isaiah. Isaiah says, "No, man, I'm leaving. I need that Lambo. I'm going to Texas." Texas just lost their 5 best skill players. They lost 2 receivers, a running back, a tight end, 3 receivers, 2 running back. I don't know what they lost. They lost everything, bro. Doesn't matter. They reloaded like a mother flipper. Then they got some good players. Texas is just fine. They got new weapons everywhere. One thing I'll say about Isaiah Bond, and it's going to sound crazy, but I went and looked it up. And in one less game, Ewers, his quarterback, Quinn Ewers, right? Ewers, in one less game than Jalen Milroe, he threw 110 times more. I want you to think about that again. He played one less game than Jalen Milroe, and he threw 110 times more attempts. That's an amazing amount of targets that have to go to somebody. And with Silas Bolden coming in from Oregon State, who's the kid? Golden coming in from Houston. I think Isaiah Bond's going to be the primary receiver, taking over that role that Adonai Mitchell did in the red zone that looks so dominant. That's his thing. Isaiah Bond is going to be targeted. He's going to increase his pro pedigree, and I think it's a great transfer for him. It's a great transfer for Chris Jackson. That's the wide receivers coach at Texas. He's got a lot of weapons to work with now. They've got some great recruits coming up, 5-star kids who signed in the last 2 years. I really like where Texas is at the wide receiver game. Isaiah Bond is not the best receiver in the transfer portal. He's not. It's just he was the highest rated out of high school, and they left him there. The nerve to put Isaiah Bond and Evan Stewart at 5 stars, but not Quinshon Judkins. Quinshon Judkins has dominated the SEC. 1,500 yards rushing, 1,100 yards rushing just this last year in a down year, 31 touchdowns in 2 seasons. Yet Evan Stewart and Isaiah Bond are 5 stars. They've never dominated the SEC. Quinshon Judkins dominates the entire SEC in the country, but he goes to Ohio State and doesn't get 5 stars. These guys get 5. It's a crime. And Landon Humphrey, I don't know what the hell he's doing up here. He doesn't belong up here at all. He's the second best Vanderbilt receiver. But he's going to Georgia, so they gave him the rating. It makes me sick. I say it every episode because every time I look at it, I throw up in my mouth. Evan Stewart's the next receiver I haven't talked about yet. Evan Stewart's a speedster, if you guys didn't know. Yeah, he's only 6 foot, 175, injury prone this year. Some injuries, missed some plays, did some things, but he's going to Oregon. And as long as he's healthy, that's another weapon at Oregon. And I think it takes away Gary Bryant's reps. But still, Trayshawn Holden on the outside, Tez Johnson out there doing it. Dylan Gabriel's got himself an embarrassment of riches. And I think Evan Stewart's part of it. If you've ever watched film on Evan Stewart, he's elite. He is fast. As long as he's healthy. But he did have a step back. 2022 as a freshman, he had some nice numbers, 53 receptions, 600-something yards in 10 games. Yeah, 640-something yards, 49 yards and 2 touchdowns. But this last year, obviously injured, didn't do as well. Quarterback's been an issue at A&M. Quarterback will not be an issue at Oregon. I look forward to what Evan Stewart can do for Oregon. Oregon looks like a favorite, man. In the playoffs, I have Oregon in my top 4, just so we're clear. I have Oregon in my top 4. Next receivers, talked about Wells and Humphreys on the first episode. I'll get to the chat here in a few. Nyblack's new. We're going to put him in here. Amari Nyblack leaving Alabama, going to Texas. Same thing. They need a weapon. They got one. Shout out to them. Jatravian Sanders leaving for the NFL is a big deal. They needed to find an answer, and they got an answer. This is the third leading receiver leaving Alabama. When he was at Alabama, 20 receptions, 327 yards, and 4 touchdowns. They don't throw a lot at Alabama. He's going to get some passes over here. He's going to get some passes. Go turn on the tape. He looks great. 6'4", 233, looks great. I went and turned on all his high school tape, straight out of Clearwater. Straight out of I'm sorry, my dog's looking at me. Out of Lakewood, Florida. I looked at him, and I said, yo, this man is nice. He was playing receiver. Not tight end, receiver. They've just been feeding him, and now he's a baller. I love everything he does. Everything he does, complete stud. C.J. Daniels does not belong ranked this high, but you're going to put him up here. Congratulations. I watched C.J. Daniels play his entire high school career at Parkview here in Georgia. They wear orange. They look like Clemson. Same team as Phil Maffa. Shout out to them. Not Phil Maffa. Who am I thinking of? Not Phil Maffa. Barrett Carter? No. He's North Gwinnett. Phil Maffa was Grayson. Who played at Parkview? Oh, it was Cody Brown. Cody Brown, don't worry about him. He's a transfer from all over the place, and he's still in the portal right now. Disregard. So back to C.J. Daniels. Good player. Played well this year. For Liberty. Looked the part, right? 55 receptions, 1,067 yards, 10 touchdowns. Tied for 13th in the country in touchdowns. I get it. But when I watched him against Oregon, I didn't see any separation. I saw him getting clamped up and locked up. And I thought it was interesting. I read it on an interview today. C.J. Daniels says, well, I'm going to LSU because I like the way they develop the receivers. What are you talking about? Brian Kelly's not developing any receivers. They have amazing receivers. 2 years in a row now, amazing receivers. Now, Malik Neighbors and Brian Thomas, but go look at the, let me pull it up, the box score. Check this out. Who is it? LSU football stats. Check this out. I'll pull it up in front of you guys. Look at the receivers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different receivers caught passes on the whole season. The whole season, only 5 receivers. You know how many people are in a wide receiver room? You got at least 14 on scholarship. Only 5 caught passes. And we're talking about, and I count 5, Aaron Anderson, the transfer from Alabama, coming over, 12 receptions. Chris Hilton, 13. Everything was to the stars up top. Nobody else was getting a pass. No one else was getting any development. No one's getting any game time or reps. If you're not one of the star receivers, you're on the bench. It's incredible. And you know who recognized this right away was Jaylen Brown. The freshman Jaylen Brown just transferred to Florida State. Jaylen Brown, he's nowhere on the chart. Go watch the tape. Jaylen Brown's incredibly fast. He's an amazing player. They said, nah, bruh, you don't get any reps. We don't give reps to players out here. Five wide receivers. Any idea? Like, look, I don't even. Let's pick a team. Let's go to Texas. I just picked up Texas just for the hell of it. How many receivers did Texas throw to? Receiving 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 receivers. These guys are not throwing to anybody. Could you imagine you're on the bench and they're not throwing to you? They're not letting you play? That's wild to me. Washington. Why wouldn't you go to Bama, bro? How much does Washington throw? How many receivers they throw to? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Back to LSU. 5 guys got to play this year. 5 in the whole room. You just got a bunch of dudes not getting any playing time. Shout out to CJ Daniels. I hope you get developed, and I hope you're one of those guys. But from what I've seen, CJ Daniels struggled with elite corners. He struggled with the Oregon corners, that's for sure. Okay, so competing with Kyron Lacey, Chris Hilton, Aaron Anderson, that's 3 right there. What are you going to get, 13, 14, 50? How many receptions you getting, bro? How many receptions you getting? Because you just had 55. We'll see. Deion Burks, episode 1. Matthew Golden, episode 1. Justin Jolly, episode 1. Jake Johnson, 1. Kobe Young, go to episode 2 if you want to learn about him. Julian Fleming, episode 1. Now we're on Noah Rogers. Rogers leaving Ohio State, going to NC State. This would be an amazing get for NC State if they got him out of high school. Now they just had to wait 1 year. This is a kid from North Carolina, so he's coming back home. Did not play at Ohio State. Couldn't get in the starting lineup. Do you blame him? Marvin Harrison Jr., Emeka, Carnell Tate, right? Justin Fleming right above him. There was no way he was going to see the field, so he just left. Now, I don't know how foolish these kids are. You go to school for 1 year, and you thought you were supposed to be in the starting lineup or rotate, or maybe it was a money grab, and now you're coming home. Maybe you got there, you got homesick, and now you're coming home. Congratulations. 6'2", 201. I watched the tape. He looks fast. He's got good track speed. He's sub 4.5. I can tell you that. You guys know I watch a ton of high school tape. So when I turn on your high school tape and you are sub 4.5, I can tell right away. I'm calibrated. I'm like, yo, what was that? Looks fast. Now, NC State wide receivers used to be something. Used to be something when they had a good quarterback. Now they got Grayson McCall coming in this year. I hope he can utilize the receivers they got. Because Noah Rogers is fast, and he's got good size. Pause. Shout out to Arkansas basketball team. But no, seriously, man, he should be doing his thing. So I look forward to Noah Rogers. Rest of these dudes were all on episode 1. If you want to learn about them, the next guy we're going to talk about is Jamal Banks, going from Wake Forest to Nebraska. I want to say this, and no shade at Jamal Banks because he is 6'4", 205 with 1 year of eligibility left. No shade. But when Nebraska signs a certain player this offseason, it's always a guy that I have evaluated as lower than rated. Let me explain that correctly. Like the websites will rate a certain guy up here at this upper echelon, but when I do my evaluations, I evaluate that guy pretty low. It's just something about it. And it's not just Nebraska. I've noticed this. Nebraska, Arkansas, and Cincinnati have all been signing players that I don't think too highly of. Same thing happened with Marshall last year, and it reflected on the field. And UCF right now is doing it as well. UCF signing a bunch of linebackers that when I do my tape and my film review, I look at it and I go, okay, that guy's XYZ, right? Like I rate all the players and I rank them. And when I'm done, I kind of go, oh, I think he should go here or he should go here. And it's like, what are you doing? More power to Jamal Banks. You're going over there with Isaiah Nair, the transfer from Texas. He couldn't play at Texas, right? I think he's former Wyoming kid. Malachi Coleman's got that young talent. Leyland Lloyd and Jeremiah Charles, good players. I'm like looking at it like, man. Now, Jamal Banks is big, 6'4", 205. Managed to put together some stats. He's played in 44 games, but he managed to put together some stats last year. In the last 2 years, 101 receptions. But remember, you had Sam Hartman at quarterback, and then you had whoever they had at quarterback last year. It was like 4 different guys due to injury, right? But Griffiths was the main one, and he just wasn't good. Mitch Griffiths, he actually hit the portal as well. But I'm telling you, Jamal Banks still gets his stats. He still gets his numbers. 1,289 yards, 13 touchdowns in the last 2 years. It's not bad. Getting ready for the NFL. I'm shout out to Matt Rule and his coaching staff, but I'm a little underwhelmed by some of the guys they signed. I'm just keeping it real. And I wanted to see them take that next step in improvement because I was really impressed with Nebraska last offseason. You guys remember, I had them in my top 10. I sang their praises all offseason long. Didn't give a shit what the website said. I just knew what my ranking said. And I'm like, no, this is a really good team. And I got attacked in the chat. You guys can go back. If you go back to the TikTok videos on the Transfer Portal playlist, you'll find all these old videos where I was doing rankings and stuff, and people were telling me I was so wrong. I wasn't. I was dead on. But this time around, I know I'm dead on again because that's who I am. Next 3 guys are covered in the first episode, and then you got Silas Bolden here. I'm going to talk about him leaving Rancho Cucamonga High School. Out of high school, he was from Rancho Cucamonga. Got an older brother, Victor Bolden, all-time great for Oregon State. Goes to Oregon State, undersized, man, 5'8", 157, and he goes over there and he proves himself. Now, what bugs me is they went and gave him 4 stars. I don't think he's a 4-star player. Even though he proved himself and he's played well, 54 receptions this last year, 746 yards. Great stuff, but what are we doing? I don't think he's Xavier Worthy, but that's the shoes he's going to have to fill. I think he's a good returner. He's fine, but they also got Golden for returns. Just think he's a little possession receiver, undersized. I like him. He catches everything, something Worthy didn't do. So going to Texas, shoring up that receiver core. They got to work on their continuity and their chemistry between himself and Quinn Ewers. But Silas Bolden, Golden, and Bond, man, them boys got some stuff going on. Gold Bond, oh man, I don't know. Mikey Matthews, I told you guys last year, there's a video out there. I told you guys I thought Mikey Matthews deserved to be a 5-star player. I made the video. He was a 3-star kid coming out of high school. I watched him on tape, straight out of Mission Viejo, and I looked at him and I said, I know the recruiting websites say he's a 3-star player. I think he's going to start as a true freshman, and I think he's the best 3-star I've seen on tape anywhere. And then people started writing to me, and the main one that wrote to me was AJ Green. AJ Green wrote to me and said, you got it. I've been trying to tell everybody how good he is. I'm glad somebody noticed. So shout out to AJ Green. He was the first NFL player to reach out to me on my channel, and he said, yep, you got it right. Mikey Matthews is him. And I'm pretty proud of myself for recognizing the talent immediately and not worrying about the stars. So he does 1 year at Utah, but what really confuses me is why did he leave? I think this is an indication of tampering. This is a young man who just played a year at Utah, and they had terrible quarterback play. Some of the worst. But you got Cam Rising, and he's coming back. Why are you leaving? Cam Rising will get you the rock. But I know why you're leaving. Cal's putting out some money, man. Cal has that Google money, and they've been getting some players in the transfer portal 2 years in a row now. Cal gets surprise transfers. You'd be like, whoa, Cal got that guy? Wait, Cal got that guy? Yes. They did it all spring. I expect them to do it again this spring. They just get an influx of money and they go. Mikey Matthews going to Cal. He's going to get his numbers. Trust, he's going to get his numbers. But is he a 4-star? I think so. I think he's a good player and he's got years ahead of him. Shout out to Mikey Matthews playing as a true freshman. I'm glad I saw the talent. There's more guys I believe in like that, just so we're aware. Obviously, the list always repeats when you hit more players because the programming at 24/7 is terrible, and the programmers have never fixed it. I'm not a programmer, but apparently neither are they. Okay, I'm going to move to the chat now, answer some questions, and we'll go from there. Let me get to it. I didn't even know we got a super tip in here. We got a super chat in here. Give me a second. I got to pull it up, and it went away. Here we go. I'm trying to read the chat while I'm sitting here, and I can't always read the screen from where I'm sitting because it doesn't scroll with me unless I have it in front of me, and I don't have it in front of me. I don't know what to do because I popped it out. Oh, whoops. Give me a second here. Sorry for the technical difficulties. Got it. All right. First and foremost, Derek H. says, yo, what up, man? D-Sup says, I just found you, and I think you do a great job providing content that is outside of the box. Thank you so much, D-Sup. I'm glad you found me, man. One person at a time. We're the real deal around here. Go back and watch all the old episodes from last year. I had to delete 1,000 videos. 1,000 videos on YouTube because they thought I was pretending to be RicoKnows. They didn't think I was the real RicoKnows. They thought I was using RicoKnows content from TikTok. So now I just post videos on YouTube and don't put any on TikTok. You can't say shit to me now. I'm putting it straight on YouTube. It's me. Got my name on it and everything. This is me. Bought a background. Says it all the way to the ceiling. RicoKnows. This is me. I got a tattoo says Rico. It's my son's name. I got boxes. We ain't fronting, bro. The Waddy Way. What up, the Waddy Way? He says, finally able to tip you on YouTube. Thanks for all the insights. Shout out to the Waddy Way. He is an MVP. I have seen him before. Thank you for the super chat. Thank you for the tip. I'm used to getting them in season. I'm used to getting them in the podcast episodes. I usually do one every night, trying to make my money. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. I really appreciate it, guys. Zach Cap says, have you heard of Trey Taylor headed to Coastal Carolina from Tyler JUCO, 5'8", 850 yards, 39 receptions? Coastal has several JUCO receivers coming in. I have not, and you guys got to know, I don't always hear about players transferring in from JUCOs because they don't hit the transfer portal. They're considered initial entry transfers. So they go in like a recruit would from high school type deal. And then they just start attending classes and they're there. I don't see them on my transfer portal charts. I don't see them on any of the websites or resources that I use. I would have to reach out to coaching staffs. In the spring, I do get school press releases. I go to every single school and get a press release for their recruiting class and their transfer portal class so I can do accurate calculations of their 85 or if they have 85 scholarship players. And that's when I see a lot of JUCO transfers. So thank you for the heads up. Did not know. I'll keep an eye out for Trey Taylor, and I got to figure out where he went to high school ball and see that tape. It's usually the case with any FCS transfer, Division II transfer, or anybody that slips through the cracks and was a walk-on because they're not on a recruiting class. I catch all recruits. I know all the recruiting classes. Got that. I study it. I do all my charts on them. I got that. I go watch the film on them. Easy. Once you're on the team, I know who you are. But sometimes people slip through the cracks because they're coming from non-FBS avenues. They're coming from JUCOs. They're coming from Division II or FCS. And those guys I have to go study, and I don't know them. And I'll be sitting there, I'll go, wait, who's that? And I got to go study them. And I'm always surprised because they're usually some studs. I've been studying the hell out of Austin Peay because all those players are going to UTEP. And I'm really impressed with what they got going. So shout out to you, Zach Caps. Thank you for the heads up. Pavan Patel says, I watched Morant's Rants for 20 minutes last week thinking it was you. That's your fault, Pavan. Don't be wasting your time on that crap shit. Sit here, bro. D-Sup sent $5. Dominic Raiola going to be ready for week 1. I don't know what you mean by ready. He's going to have his uniform on. He's going to have his uniform on. We know that much. I don't know much else. I'm looking at that dude like, yo, is he really ready? Couldn't win the state title at Buford with all the talent in the world. Did you see Rivals? They ranked the top players from the state of Georgia. 3 of them in the top 5 went to Buford. You would think if you had 3 of the best players in the whole state, in the whole country, it was KJ Bolden, It was, what's his face going to Ohio State? I'm forgetting his name right now. Edric Houston. And then you had Dylan Raiola. They didn't win state, bro. They didn't get to the semis. 2 years in a row. Knocked out early in the playoffs. They're not winners. No camaraderie. I don't believe in it, man. So I hope Dominic Raiola is ready to play. But in my experience and in my analysis, 5-star quarterbacks, going back to about 2017, 5-star quarterbacks should not be starting on day one. They should be backing up a professional player in front of them. Or they can eventually become the starter by the end of the first year. Right? Trevor Lawrence beating out Kelly Bryant later on in his freshman season. He didn't start day one. Only JT Daniels started day one. The rest should have been working their way in. Yo, what about Rashada and Dante Moore? And then, look how that worked out. You should be backing up a pro. Justin Fields, redshirting, backing up a pro. CJ Stroud, backing up a pro. Right? Bryce Young, backing up a pro. You redshirt and back up a professional player. You should have that pedigree at that university. Anybody getting 5-star quarterbacks should have multiple 5-star quarterbacks. They shouldn't be the first one in school history or anything. And it is for Nebraska, so it's a little different. Good luck, man, because he's going to get thrown to the fire. Appreciate that super. It's your first one. I appreciate you, Dominic. You're awesome, man. What's up, my big guy? Shout out to Rico. Shout out to you, RJ Moore Malone. Hyphenated. Whew. How do you think Colorado's wide receiver room stacks up in the Big 12? In the Big 12, I mean, in the country, I really like the whole room. But in the Big 12, I think I got them second overall in the Big 12. I don't want to miss any. I don't want to skip one, but I think I have them second, only to Arizona. I just think T-Mac's an all-pro NFL wide receiver, so it's a little different. Like, Colorado's got a lot of nice receivers, a lot of nice weapons, and to me, they're all kind of potential-driven weapons. Like, they're pretty good. They have the potential to be great. You know, Will Shepard's going to go out there and do his thing. But T-Mac is a 1,400-yard wide receiver, knowing he's getting double coverage every play. T-Mac is a 1,400-yard receiver. And he did it with Noah Fafita only starting, 8 out of the 12 games or something. It's incredible what I see at Arizona. So it's just one guy, but he's so amazing that I think he's hands down the best receiver in the country. That's how I feel about T-Mac. That's real. So, yeah, but I love Colorado's wide receiver room. I think it stacks up better than a lot of other teams. Their wide receiver room is not the issue ever. This upcoming season, linebackers might be a concern. Just dominating the game up front, being consistent. Running back, we need to see if they got a bell cow. We need to see, can my boy do what he does? I say my boy because I talk to him on TikTok, right? So, for me, it's personal. But we'll see what happens. The Waddy Way, LeJontay Wester, Will Shepard, Travis Hunter all look like pros. Yeah, they do, but like I said, Travis Hunter looks like a professional DB or wide receiver. You let me know. They look like pros. I think T-Mac can start in the NFL right now. Right now. So Will Shepard looks like he has the potential to be a 5th-round pick. LeJontay Wester, same thing. 4th, 5th-round pick. T-Mac is a top 10 guy to me. To me, he's a top 10 wide receiver. He's the real deal. Like I said, all pro. I meant like better than everybody. Go watch the tape. That dude's outrageous. Go watch the tape. That's a man amongst boys. And he has been like that for a couple years now. All right, I'll get back to the chat. You guys hang in there with me. I'm going to go back and attack this list and see where we're at. So, pardon me. Got to make sure I'm not talking about a guy I already talked about. We finished with Mikey Matthews, and then we hit more. Load more players. Who was my next guy that I need to talk about? All these guys were in a different episode. I think the next guy, Tobias was all in episode 2. The next guy's Mario Williams. There it is. Mario Williams, USC, going to Tulane. Let me tell you guys about Mario Williams. I've known him a long time. Mario Williams, the first time I ever got introduced to Mario Williams was off of a Destroying video. You guys know Destroying? They do those competitions, those one-on-one drills on YouTube. I watched them and I was like, yo, this kid is killing it. They kept saying #1 receiver in the nation, all this stuff. Little guy. But he's got acceleration for days. What he doesn't have is top-end speed. And when you're at USC and there's a guy like Zachariah Branch, Zachariah Branch will make you look like you don't deserve any more reps. That's real. He started losing reps to other receivers, Taj and the boys. So Mario Williams initially going to Oklahoma, having that connection with the coaching staff, with his quarterback, transferring to USC, had a good first year. You can't be mad. 40 receptions, 631 yards, and 5 touchdowns 2 years ago with Jordan Addison in the lineup. Are you kidding me? Mario Williams is good. But this last year, taking a step back, losing some reps, his top-end speed looks like, and I don't mean to be rude, it looks like a 4.55. Mario Williams looks like a 4.55 guy when he's opened up going. Now, acceleration, smooth. Cuts, got that just nice agility everywhere. Dexterity on point. But top-end speed, not there. Now, you're going to Tulane. You go play for a great coach, John Summerall. I got it, man. Tulane just lost 2 really good receivers to graduation to the NFL. Jackson's so good. Keys. Is Keys still there? I think Keys went to the pros as well. I got to double check. I'm just going to let you know that Tulane lost Brazil to transfer to Tennessee. I think losing Jackson and Brazil is going to be tough. Brazil? Am I saying Brazil? It's Brazil? Don't look at me crazy. But I think it's going to be tough to replace that kind of production. Mario Williams is good, though. He's a good player. He's good enough. He's good enough to beat you on a touchdown, especially in that conference with those types of players. They're not as good as Memphis. You heard it here first. Memphis is my group of 5 team to go undefeated. Memphis and Boise are on top of the world. I really, really like Seth Hennigan in Memphis. And everybody they got. Rock Taylor, Blumpkin C, just got Jair Shorter coming in, got Mario Anderson Jr. coming in. They got more players coming in. Like, I love, guys, Memphis. I can't preach it all offseason, and then the season starts, and you guys pretend like you didn't hear it, okay? So you got to know, MVPs, anybody watching this podcast, Memphis, all season next year, undefeated. We're picking them to cover the spread. They're scoring 50 points a game. I believe in Memphis. I'm telling you, study that whole roster. Speaking of studying whole rosters, what up, Jeremy Bernard? I've said it many, many times. Jeremy Bernard is a good receiver, leaving Washington, going to Alabama. No shame, no shade. Couldn't start in 2 different teams now, and he's transferring again, but he will start at Alabama. They just lost 7 receivers. 7. And the year before that, they lost 5. When they lost Trayshawn Holden and Baker and was it Christian Leary? Oh, they lost a bunch of dudes. Oh, Aaron Anderson did LSU. So they've lost so much talent in the last 2 years at the receiver position. And they've been reloading just fine. And those guys who are leaving aren't quite there. But Jeremy Bernard is a guy. Jeremy Bernard, coming out of high school, was supposed to go to Washington, flipped at the last second, went to Michigan State, got there, realized, oh my God, there's levels to this. Keon Coleman's in here. Jaden Reed's in here. I can't start here. There's another kid. Forgetting who the other senior was. But he couldn't get any reps. He said, man, I got the hell out of here. I'm going to go back to Washington. Gets to Washington. Oh, my God. McMillan's here. Polk is here. O'Dunes is here. Rome. There's 3 receivers better than me. I got to just return kicks. He's been that guy. He's always been the 4th best receiver in every receiver corps. And I think it's time he shows up. Remember, this is a big kid, 6'1", 6'2", 205. Big, strong, powerful guy. I think he's good. I think it's a great get for Alabama. I'm excited for that move. And when the SEC finds out this guy's been on a bench for a while, he's so good. He's just been on the bench to superstars. You know, imagine, you go from one receiver corps to the next, and you just keep sitting the bench to superstars everywhere. Speaking of superstars, Tayshawn Lyons might think he's a superstar, but I wouldn't sign this kid to my team if I needed a receiver. Shout out to Utah. They need a receiver, so they got one. Tayshawn Lyons is not built like that, guys. I'm letting you know now. Tayshawn Lyons was at Washington with Jeremy Bernard. He was a freshman this year. And I kid you not, you go watch the tape. This kid's fast. 11 flat 100 meters. That's fast enough. I like guys under 11 for sure. Pause. Pause. Do not clip that. I like wide receivers to run under 11 seconds in the 100 meters to prove to me that they're fast. But this guy's 11:03. He's 22:37 in the 200. And he's 6'1", 170. He can play football. But he gets to – here's the crazy thing. I watched tape. I went to go find tape on this kid yesterday. I went looking for tape. I'm like, all right, what games did he play in? Let me go look at the highlights. I couldn't see any highlights. I'm like, what the hell? Wait, I caught him in a highlight. What was that? Against Michigan State, who's the backup quarterback? Dylan Morris. Dylan Morris throws a pass to him, and it bounces off his hands, and it gets intercepted at the goal line. He was about to score a touchdown. It hit him in the worst place. It hit him right in the hands. And he's the reason there was an interception. But the game was a blowout, so nobody really noticed. It didn't matter. Complete blowout, who cares? But I keep watching it, and it happens again. There's another game. Who was it? Another blowout. He gets in, and interception. I said, what is it? No, he drops it. He drops the touchdown. I said, what is this kid doing? He's not built for the light. He's not built for the moment. So I'm doing a search to see when he jumped into the portal, and I notice it's the same exact day that Jamarcus Shepard was named the wide receivers coach of the year for the nation. So check this out. Washington wide receivers coach, Jamarcus Shepard, wins the award for best wide receiver coach in the nation. And this kid jumps in the portal that same day. What does that mean? You know why? I'm trying to understand it, bro. You just had 3 amazing wide receivers who apparently got developed, McMillan, Polk, and Rome, all declared for the draft. They're all going to the NFL. It's just you and Jeremy Bernard left, and you jump in the portal? You're a true freshman. You jump in the portal? Bananas, bro. Ryan Grubb, the offensive coordinator, who's now at Alabama, now thinking about taking the Seattle Seahawks job. Ryan Grubb said in an interview, I think the young man is just looking for a coach that matches his personality. We're looking for players that match our personality. Whoa. So then Jamarcus Shepard says in an interview about this young man, Trayshawn Lyons. He says, we got to keep reminding these guys, you are 18 to 22 years old. You're in our world. We create these opportunities for you. We select who goes on the field. We enable you to do the things you do, not the other way around. Good luck to him. Sounds like they had a really hard time coaching this young man. Sounds like they had a really hard time motivating him. But all I saw on the field was substandard play. And he should have been learning. And the coach talked about it. Ryan Grubb said, hey, listen, we have subordinate leaders on this team who are in a demanding nature. We have a winning team with a great culture of winning, a great coaching staff, and we have really good mentors in the receiver room. He's talking about the seniors. And they carry themselves in a professional manner daily. And apparently, Tayshawn Lyons had a very difficult time adjusting to that professional manner and that certain, what quote unquote, toughness. We have a certain toughness and demanding nature in our wide receiver room. I couldn't believe what I was reading, bro. They're calling this kid soft. They're telling me this kid ain't built for this, and he went to Utah because they lost Mikey Matthews. They struggled. They scrambled to find somebody they recruited out of high school. This is a California kid. Right? He's from Hayward, California. But Utah, you got yourself a softie, bruh. You got yourselves a fake one. I don't believe in this kid. Not if 2 great coaches. The wide receivers coach the best in the nation is telling me this kid's soft and not built for this. You couldn't learn from 3 other teammates who are going to the league? Quit on the team? Nah. Hard pass, bruh. Speaking of hard pass, thinking Daquan Wright is not him. This dude is amazing, bro. This guy is amazing. He's got 2 years left. 2 years left. Daquan Wright leaving Virginia Tech. Sure, you played with a quarterback that couldn't throw you the rock all that much. Kyron Drones is an amazing runner, not known for his passes. But I watched Daquan Wright play high school ball here in Georgia. Shout out to Perry High School. I watched him play at Perry. Perry's perennial power. I think they won state this year. First time Yeah, first time I've seen them win state. They've been a perennial power, but they won state. But let me tell you, man, Daquan Wright, 6'4", 250. Remember I told you I like receivers who are fast? Daquan Wright in high school ran an 11-1 100 meters. He's so close to fast, it's crazy. He played wide receiver and quarterback in high school. But has just an elite level catching skill. I think Daquan Wright is an NFL receiving tight end. I'm saying it now. It's on digits. It's on wax. It's here for you guys to see. I think he's an NFL wide receiver. Or tight end, I'm sorry. Receiving tight end. He looks like Big Mike Williams. Y'all remember BMW, Big Mike Williams? Shout out to USC. In the early 2000s, they had this kid named Mike Williams. All right, before Dwayne Jarrett, it was Mike Williams and Kerry Colbert. Mike Williams could not be stopped. Tried to go to the league early with Maurice Clarett. They tried to go to the league after 2 years in college. They didn't make it. And Mike Williams did not have the breakaway speed he needed, and he did not have the blocking acumen to succeed. In today's NFL, Mike Williams would have been A-OK as a tight end. Because you ain't got to block for shit. You just got to go out and run catches and do your thing. I think Daquan Wright is him. I just hope, and I want to say this because I've looked at a lot of tight ends in the portal, and when I look at them, I look at their offers, and they're all getting an Ole Miss offer. I just hope Ole Miss isn't trying to stack as many players as possible with no intention of using them. Because they did that last year. They and Louisville are both doing the same thing. And I don't fault the coaching staffs. They're just trying to make their best 85. No regard to play the player or not. They're just getting as many players as they can in the room. Who's the best 85 I can get on my team? That's what Lane Kiffin's doing. That's what Jeff Brom's doing. And once they get their best 85, they're like, this is who we got. But who's going to play? Oh, well, we told that kid he's going to play, but he's not. He's the best third-string tight end in the country. Shout out to Michael Trigg. That's why he quit the team. They brought him in from USC, and he looked around and said, they don't plan to play me at all. They got prior scoring coming in from Memphis. They left me hanging out. Hey, and they didn't care. They signed Michael Trigg and said, yeah, we're going to play you. We're going to play you. No, we're not. It's time to put you in the starting lineup. Nah, we're going to go get this other kid, pre-scoring. And he's a beast. Coach don't care, bro. He gets paid to win games. And he won 11 of them. Shout out to Kiffin. So, enough of that. Looking at the rest of this list, everybody else has been talked about in previous videos. If you want to find them, go watch episodes 2 and 1 on the wide receiver playlist. I'm going to keep going. I have several more to go, which is good. Keshawn Johnson's next. Where's Keshawn Johnson leaving from? That symbol is Alabama State, I believe. Alabama State? Yep. Alabama State going to Western Kentucky. So this young man, I'm going to tell you guys, I don't like his motivations. It's just my personal preference. I've studied him fairly well. I think he's only about the money. Most of us are. It's okay. But I want you to be about your teammates. I want you to be about succeeding. And his whole thing is like, get the bag. Every post he does, Twitter, Instagram, is just get the bag, get paid, get the bag, get paid. And he's telling everybody, get the bag, get paid, everything. It's like these little bag signs. It's crazy. And I'm like, man, bruh, just say some shit like, yo, I want to fulfill my dream or something. I don't know. It just irks me. So he was initially committed to go to Vandy. So I know he's a smart kid. Because you got to get past admissions to get into Vandy, and Vandy's real. He was going to go to Vandy, and then something didn't work out. Maybe grades didn't work out. I don't know. But he's not going to Vandy. He said he was going to bet on himself. That means he wanted to get in the SEC and see where he competes. Now you're going to Western Kentucky. Let's see it. Let's see what you got. He's played in 33 games in his career. Over 1,400 yards receiving in his career. 11 touchdowns. First team all SWAC. He could have went to Baylor, Tulane, Boston College. He said, nah, give me that Western Kentucky. Well, of course, he got a Texas Tech offer. Everybody did. But Texas Tech only offering FCS players, by the way. It's crazy. But Keshawn Johnson looks good on tape. Good size. We'll see if he can ball out at Western Kentucky. You know they throw in Tyson Helton's offense, so it's exciting. Good for him. He ain't got shit on LeJontay Wester. Tay Wester, right below him. I don't know how they do these rankings. I don't want to hear it. LeJontay Wester has done everything none of these guys above him have ever done. This is a man with over 100 receptions in a season, over 1,000 yards, all-time leading receiver in FAU history. LeJontay Wester is Waffle House, bro, because he's always open. I'm telling you. Former zero-star player, obviously played with his two other brothers at FAU. I did a bunch of highlights on him before he was ever going to Colorado. I can't stand the Colorado fans who pretend like they know him. Oh, yeah, man, we got so-and-so. Bruh, I made a video on this man a year ago, and y'all ignored it. Y'all weren't feeling it. Oh, Rico, you just talking about some small shit. We talking about Power 5, Pac-12. No, I'm telling you the good players. And I'm so grateful that the Colorado coaching staff and I are so close that they watch my videos and go, you know what, Rico, we need to sign that guy. Just being real. LeJontay Wester and his brother's coming. But, hey, this is a superstar. This is a great player. Just coming for 1 year to the Power 5 level. Prove he's got that pedigree. Prove he's an NFL football player. I love it. Go big or go home. LeJontay Wester's him. Shout out to Tay. By the way, so is Jeremiah Hunter, but that's a whole nother conversation. Another one. But somebody who's not him is Malik Carr. I see Malik Carr down here. I don't know why he's ranked this high. It irks me. I don't know how people are ranked ahead of Dorian Singer. Malik Carr, for me, this is like a leftover section on the chart where they threw these guys, and I don't like it. Malik Carr's not all that good. 6'6", 260, 1 year of eligibility left. Been at Michigan State for 3 years. He's played in 34 games, but 3 years, 6 starts. 3 years, 54 receptions. You're not what you think you are. That's how I feel about it. And yeah, he's going to block and he's going to do well, and Houston needed somebody. So they got him. But for me, he never really panned out to his high school tape. His high school tape looked great. Straight out of Oak Park. He looks like a natural receiver. A long strider. He started his career at Purdue, just so you know. And then he went to Michigan State. Now he's going to Houston. Shout out to Willie Fritz for getting the guy, but Dorian Singer. Okay. Dorian Singer going to Utah, and they're like, Rico, we got a baller. Yeah, you got a baller who at Arizona was able to get 1,100 yards receiving. You know why? Well, we know why now. There was coverage on Jacob Cowing. There was coverage on T-Mac. And he was getting the third best corner. He was doing that JSN treatment where there's a star over here and a star over here, and then you get the third best corner on every single team, and you light him up. You route his ass up. Well, that didn't happen at USC. USC took him as a transfer and tried to say, all right, you're an 1,100-yard guy. You're going to be our Z. If you guys don't know receivers, XYZ, that's how your receivers go. X is the guy on the line of scrimmage. That's your number one. That's your guy who can go deep. Usually your 6'5" dude, your Calvin Johnson. XYZ. Y is your slot inside. That could be your tight end as well, but it's your slot receiver. And then Z is the guy who's off the ball on the outside. So you try to put this dude at the Z, and he couldn't get open. No separation. Not fast enough. All that shit. You know, coming out of high school, he played at Pinnacle High School. His offers were NAU, Ohio, and EMU. I'm going to say that again. NAU, Ohio, and EMU. If you don't know what those stand for, NAU is Northern Arizona, FCS. EMU, Eastern Michigan. And then Ohio, the Bobcats. So MAC schools or FCS schools were his only offers. And then at the last second, it's 2020. It's COVID. They do the wrong type of recruiting in COVID. He got an offer from Utah and an offer from Texas. Yeah, the Longhorns. And then so Arizona came in at the last second and was like, man, if these guys are offering him, maybe he's good. I thought he was good last offseason. I talked about Dorian Singer highly. I fell for the stat merchant. Once I saw him at USC, I saw a guy who couldn't get open on routes. I saw a guy who cannot be him. So he needs to go back to being the second or third option out receiver, not the primary option. He's not built like that. Shout out to Utah. I don't think they care. They wanted a blocking wide receiver. They just lost Pittman. They want a blocking wide receiver. Good for them. Denylon Morissette. So I've never liked Denylon Morissette. Let me just be clear. You guys know I support these players from the day they start playing high school ball, sometimes before high school, right? And shout out to Youngblood. But I'm in Georgia, and I'm watching high school football, and I follow all Georgia high school football teams. If you guys don't know the channel, go watch my TikToks. I do high school film reviews. I do Georgia high school weekly results. I do all Georgia high schools. I know them all 400-something. I'm on it. And I can remember when Morissette was at Brookwood. He was at Brookwood with Dylan Lonergan, and he was his star receiver, and I thought they were very underwhelming. Nothing too impressive. And then the next year, he transfers, and he goes to North Cobb. And he gets paired up with Mbake. Mbake, wide receiver, he's in the portal as well, from Arkansas. Both of these dudes are 4-star receivers. So you go, hey, they're 4-star receivers at North Cobb. The quarterback was Malachi Singleton. He's now at Arkansas. So you got Malachi Singleton at quarterback, these guys, and you thought, dude, they're going to win state. They're going to win everything. And they weren't shnikey. They weren't shit. What up, Cone? We see you. Appreciate you guys, man. They were terrible. No consistency. Hey, Cone, didn't you play at Indiana State? Am I thinking of the wrong person? I don't know. I'm thinking about somebody else. But they had no consistency, no camaraderie. They were just hired mercenaries. But every time they went to a camp or something, somebody told me they were 4- and 5-star kids. I thought, what the hell? These guys suck. Like, I don't mean to be rude, but they just don't look good. They don't look good. When I watch the film, they don't look good. So they said, well, he's going to Georgia. I said, so what? No good receivers are going to Georgia. Remember that. None of the top receivers are going to Georgia. I know this. None of them. Ignoring Georgia. They're going to Ohio State. They're going to Clemson, Texas, USC, Alabama. They're not going to Georgia. They don't throw the ball. They don't throw it to wide receivers. They throw it to tight ends and running backs out the backfield. And this was like, this is obviously when they're winning their national titles. But this Denylon Morissette is a terrible person. You should not have him in your team. And Purdue, I'm worried about you. Purdue just signed 5 Georgia players. It's like they think they're doing what the Eagles did. Remember, the Eagles didn't win shit. You drafted a bunch of Bulldogs, and I told everybody, that don't mean shit. You ain't gonna win nothing with those guys. Terrible draft. Out here drafting a bunch of Bulldogs? Well, they won the national title. No, I don't give a shit. They're winning the national title because they got a unicorn at tight end. Be real, bruh. Denylon Morissette is probably the worst signing to Purdue. I would not have signed this kid. I don't think he deserves to be in college football. I don't think he's a student athlete. I think he's a hired mercenary. He's been moving around. You guys don't know this. I'm sorry. Never played one place ever. And then he went and got arrested. And when he got arrested at Georgia, Georgia never publicly talked about it. But Denylon Morissette did not play this season. There's not a rep anywhere. He did not play this season, okay? I believe he was suspended the whole season. They just didn't publicly announce it. He was arrested. He rear-ended a 55-year-old woman. She had to be seen for some help. But he was in his 2019 Dodge Charger. He rear-ended her 2022 Subaru Outback. And it was 3 a.m. And he was arrested and charged with driving under the influence of drugs. Not DUI. Driving while inebriated. Driving while not intoxicated. Yeah, inebriated. He was driving too fast. He was speeding. His vehicle, they found marijuana. Okay, you guys are like, so what's the big deal? No, bro. He had a digital scale. He thinks he's a drug dealer. He's doing the Tony Mitchell route. So he had some fines of like $1,700, but Georgia never once publicly acknowledged this. You can Google it. You can look it up. They never publicly acknowledged it ever. And it pisses me off because I want to hear about accountability. Because I don't think this young man should ever be on another college campus. You think you're selling drugs, bro? You think you're a drug dealer? You're not a student athlete. You should be doing homework, bro. We get pulled over, I should find a TI-85, bro. Y'all know what a TI-85 is? You ain't real students unless you know what a TI-85 is. I can't mess with you. That's what bugs me about Denylon Morissette. And going to Purdue, and I know Ryan Walters wants to win. Ryan Walters, new head coach, coming over from Illinois, new head coach at Purdue. I know he wants to win. So he's willing to sacrifice some of his own morals and his own values and his own character, because that's a high character guy. And he thinks he can mold these young men and give them the right environment to succeed. It's the same thing the Eagles tried to do. I promise you guys, the arrogance, the confidence, the audacity of a coach is unrivaled by anyone. Like, I'm telling you, like, I believe in myself. I have an immense amount of self-confidence, probably an unhealthy amount of self-confidence. It's the only way to be great. College coaches are the same way. They will see a guy mess up, get arrested, go to jail, be a nuisance in the locker room, and they will say to themselves and their staff, yo, we could fix this. We could fix this. This guy could get to our locker room. We can make him better. Are you shitting me, bro? We can't fix this. And they never, ever admit that they can't fix the problem. They just look for solutions to their greatness. And more power to them, because that's the mindset of everybody out there who's like, that's just how they get down. I don't fault them for it, but I will call them out on it. Ain't no beef with me. I'm going to call them out on it. I'm going to go to Raphael Williams, and then I'll go back to the chat. Raphael Williams from Dillard High School, Fort Lauderdale, Florida. So cool what's happening here, going to Pitt. It's just a reunion of some sorts, if you will. So this is a Division II kid out of, what's that school? Tusculum, Division II school. And he went from there to Western Carolina, played at Western Carolina for 2 seasons, balled out, parlayed that, 120 receptions, 1,600 yards. Parlayed that into a San Diego State offer. Goes to San Diego State. Now, San Diego State, terrible quarterback play. They had a guy named Maben at quarterback. He's a former safety. But anyways, so this kid's at San Diego State. And then his old offensive coordinator at Western Carolina, Cade Bell, gets hired at Pitt. Now he's the offensive coordinator at Pitt. So the minute he gets there, he's like, yo, we're bringing everybody back. So he brings up Raphael Williams. He brings up Reed, the running back, who's great. And then Sincere Lee, the other receiver at Western Carolina. They're all there. So now Pitt's got all of Western Carolina's star players all at the school right now. I think it's pretty cool. He is small. He's 5'10", 165. But shout out to Pitt for finding the offensive coordinator they wanted. He's kind of innovative and new and exciting. And then he was able to bring in all the old players he used to know. Yo, you, Desmond Reed, running back, beast. Go turn on the tape. Nice. So shout out to Pitt for doing the best they can in this moment. I'll get Tyler Foster, and then I'll go to the chat. Tyler Foster, leaving Ohio, going to Oklahoma State. Hey, y'all, you guys ever, like, had a deal with somebody, and then they, like, renege on you? They, like, back out of the deal, but you already committed, so there ain't no way you could back out? Does that make sense? So Tyler Foster, leaving Ohio, he came on a visit to Oklahoma State, and he went and met a dude. He was talking to one of the tight ends, just talking to him, shooting the shit with him, hanging out. And then he went and talked to the tight end's roommate. And the roommate was Gunnar Gundy, the son of the head coach. So they start talking, and Gunnar Gundy is trying to sell this kid, this tight end, Tyler Foster, on Oklahoma State. He's telling him everything that's great about Oklahoma State, how great his dad is, how great the coaching staff is. He's selling him on it. This is a young man who's been starting at Ohio for the last 2 years. 6'7", 250. He's huge. Great blocking tight end. That's all you need for Ollie Gordon, right? Blocking tight end. So they keep talking and everything, and Tyler Foster starts telling him, well, Ohio, Athens, it's a great place to be. And sure enough, Gunnar Gundy looks at him and goes, how great is it? He starts telling him about the coaching staff, how they just lost Rourke at quarterback. He just left to go to Indiana, all this stuff. And he's like, man, I think I'm going to go to Ohio. So Gunnar Gundy jumps in the transfer portal and goes to Ohio because this boy right here, Tyler Foster, talked him into it. And Tyler Foster says, well, I'll go to Oklahoma State. You talked me into it. So they swap. And then Gunnar Gundy gets out there to Ohio and goes, never mind. I ain't doing this shit. I ain't going here. And he's back in the portal. Now, I have a source that tells me Gunnar Gundy's going to Division II. I have a source telling me Gunnar Gundy is not in the portal. He's already committed and verbally committed, but I haven't seen it anywhere, so I'm not reporting it in my videos. I'm talking about it now, but it's not written on Twitter or in one of my TikToks because I don't like to start rumors. I like to make sure, but I'm letting you guys know now. I already know. If he's going Division II, then my source was right. If he's not going Division II, then I blocked the source. No. Then it is what it is. People are allowed to change their mind. He already changed his mind. He's not going to Ohio. So more power to him. But now let's talk about Tyler Foster's fit at Oklahoma State. I already told you, he's a great blocking tight end. He's 6'7", 250. He's like a lean offensive tackle. But what's cool about it is if you watched Oklahoma State football this year, and I'm sure many people didn't, Josiah Johnson was their tight end. And Josiah Johnson only caught 22 passes this year out of 700 snaps. They only threw it to him 22 times. But the cool thing about Josiah Johnson is he started his career at UMass, and he was a quarterback. So they converted a UMass quarterback to tight end, and you wonder why he's not that effective in the blocking game? Because he's a converted quarterback, right? So when you look at Tyler Foster, this dude's been a tight end coming out the womb, bro. He's a tight end, classic tight end. South Carolina wanted him. Colorado talked to him. They didn't offer him, but they did reach out. Colorado, South Carolina, Louisville. A lot of people were interested in this kid, and he ended up going to Oklahoma State. So congratulations to him. Now let's get to the chat. 1 second. I always have to change windows. I'm never ready for it. So let's go back up. Let's see what we got here. You watch that. Shout out to you, D-Sup. What's up, my big guy? Shout out to you, Rico. What up? I appreciate you guys. LeJontay Wester, Will Shepard look like pros. Sorry, we got that. Who would you say has the best SEC wide receiver room? I don't want to miss a team, and I don't want to be wrong. But the best wide receiver room in the SEC, I want to say Ole Miss because of Trey Harris. He's just so amazing. Trey Harris, Juice coming in. Yeah. I'm going to go there. Ole Miss, best wide receiver room in the SEC. I think they're deadly, man, with Jackson Dart. So, yeah, let me go Ole Miss. It's tough, though. There's a lot of good teams out there. A lot of good receivers. A lot of good receiver rooms. But that one kind of sticks out to me. Does Milroe hold off Austin Mack? D-Sup, I think he does. I think they want to let him do his thing. But I think Austin Mack, don't let Milroe have 2 bad games. Austin Mack's going to be in the coach's pocket. They're going to believe in him. Don't let Milroe have 2 bad games. Don't let it happen. It's bad news. Real. Rico goes so hard about weed. Ben had Fetty, but not guys that's catching sexual assault charges. I don't know what you're talking about. But if you're making a reference to a player that had charges, let me know. And let me know what the charges were. And if there was any accountability for his actions. Did he go to court, have his day in court, get found guilty, get punishment? I'm not sure. There was charges in Missouri? You're going to have to be more specific than that. Because I don't think that that's an accurate statement at all. I have an issue with any player, any coach, anyone who breaks the law and isn't held accountable. Don't get it twisted. Don't try to sell any other narrative. That's my narrative from day one. It's the only thing I ever harp on is I have an issue with universities not holding players accountable. If you have an example, let me know. Hey, Rico, what's your opinion on Colorado Seville Smalls switching to tight end? Yeah, so Seville Smalls, if you guys don't know who that is, former 5-star defensive end, stud coming out of high school. Everybody swore up and down he's from the state of Washington. He's going to be the greatest defensive end in the world. Signed with Washington and ended up 3rd and 4th string and couldn't break the starting line, couldn't break the 2 deep, couldn't contribute for like 2 or 3 years. Then he transferred to Colorado. Colorado got him, and everybody started bragging about how they got this 5-star defensive lineman. And I said, guys, I turned on the tape. He can't start anywhere. I think he's a recruiting miss. I don't think he's any good. And everybody attacked me for it. Well, here we are. His last offseason, and if you pay attention to all the well-off media clips, when they go into their position groups, you see a guy named Seville Smalls going with the tight ends. So he's moved to offense, apparently. Moved to tight end. And you know Colorado's trying to find answers at tight end. I don't think that's a problem. I want to tell you that it's interesting. If you're an athlete and you can move to tight end, we've seen quarterbacks do it. There's going to be a player coming up, actually, that I'm going to talk about, going to Auburn. And he's going because they moved him to tight end. And he's a defensive end. And he wants to play defensive end. So I admire the young man for being willing to move to a position that the team needs. I don't necessarily know how good he is. I've never seen him play. at tight end. I did in high school. Let me take that back. I did in high school. I saw the highlights. He looked fine. But it's a different thing here. I think the team needs players, and he might be added depth there. But I know this. He wasn't seeing the field at defensive end, especially now. Those edge rushers that Colorado has now are real. That defensive line has been upgraded, I think, more than any other position group in America on any other team. Let me say that again. The defensive line at Colorado has improved so much that it's better than any other improvement at any other position group anywhere in America. That's the truth. If you go and watch each one of those players that Colorado signed, you'd just be dumbfounded. Dumbfounded. I think they have 3 of the top 6 defensive linemen in the transfer portal. 3 of the top 6. I don't give a shit what the recruiting websites say. I know what I see on tape. I know who the players are. I know their production. I don't want to hear about potential. I don't want to hear about Barron and Princely. No. I'm telling you. Lace it up. Let's figure it out. No best SEC receiver room. I don't know what you mean. Oh, you think Missouri's the best SEC receiver room? No. Trey, man, you don't know Trey Harris. And I'm done. That's crazy talk. Crazy talk. All right, back to the chart. That's crazy. Just Luther Burden? That's your game? All right, who's next on the list? I can't even take that serious. C.J. Smith, leaving Georgia, going to Purdue, another Georgia kid. C.J. Smith, I'm sorry, sweetie, if I startled you. I apologize, y'all. 6'3", 190. This is one of the fastest players in college football. Come on. In college football. The problem is he's injured. He's injured everywhere. So he won a state title in Florida in the 100 and the 200, and that was fine. But then he injured his knee. And once he injured his patella tendon or his meniscus, it was over. From then on, he's been injured, and he doesn't stop. 2020, 2021, high school. I'm talking about high school. Not completing full seasons. Not doing the damn thing. He's never out there contributing the way you want him to. So he and Morissette, both receivers, going to Purdue. I guess they're friends. Congratulations. They're going out there with Nyland Green, C.J. Madden, and I'm missing one more. But I'm not impressed with it. I hope he's healthy. If he's healthy, Purdue found a speed demon. Now, Purdue still didn't find answers. They still lost 2 quality wide receivers. Right? Burks left, and the kid went up to Michigan State. Forgetting his name right now. Just crazy. Come on, sweetie. She's barking at her own shadow. So C.J. Smith, congratulations. Incredibly fast. I hope he gets healthy and he gets back to his old self because he's not there right now. Jaleel Skinner, this is one of those things where I think the player's good. I think the transfer is bad. He's 6'5", 210, leaving Miami, going to Louisville. I just think it's a bad move. This is a kid who went to IMG. This is a kid who went to he's from Greer, South Carolina, but he went to IMG. He transferred everywhere in high school. He's a basketball player too. 4-star kid. But I'm telling you, Coach Braum doesn't care. Coach Braum doesn't care. He's going to sign as many people as he can to make the best team possible. But he don't care if he's wasting your years of eligibility. Jaleel Skinner might not even play. Mark Redmond's coming in from San Diego State. Isaiah Cummings coming in from Kentucky. They have another kid. They got a 3rd tight end. I don't remember his name right now. They already got 3 tight ends coming in. And they're bringing you in. Like it's crazy. And they got guys on the roster. I don't get it. This is a young man that only played 25 plays at Miami. Let me explain to you guys how I think. If you can't play at Miami, you can't play at Louisville. I don't understand it, bro. You played 25 plays at Miami this year. 1 reception, 9 yards against Bethune-Cookman. In a blowout, you got 9 yards. And that's what you think you're going to parlay into some playing time at Louisville? Nah. Louisville didn't even use tight ends all that much. Joey Gatewood got some late touchdowns later in the season. Shout out to Joey Gatewood, the one of those flops at quarterback who moved to tight end. But I like Joey Gatewood a lot, by the way. I just think it's a bad move. Michael Trigg shouldn't have signed anybody. Shouldn't have signed with Baylor. This is another kid. Hasn't panned out anywhere. Went to USC, couldn't play there. Goes to Ole Miss, can't play there. Now you're going to Baylor. Can you play there? I don't know. I think once you can't start at one Power 5 school, You need to start thinking about going to a group of 5, start thinking about going to FCS. Be realistic about your talent. And why aren't you starting? This man quit on his team, man. I don't like anybody who quits on the team midseason. You're selfish. You're not going to be able to join another team. Finish your semester, stay on the team, go to practice, continue to get developed. If you know you're going somewhere else, man, keep lifting weights. You know, when you don't like your job, do you just show up and quit? Is that what you guys do? Is that the generation we got right now? You don't like your job, so you quit? How about you keep going to work while you search for another job and go do interviews after work? I would go to work and use the computer at work to search Indeed and Monster, or wherever it is you look for jobs. I don't know. This is my job. I found my job on TikTok. I'm just saying, I don't like that generation of just, I'm going to quit. I'm not getting my way. I don't want you in my locker room. And I'm going to say something. Baylor, your recruiting practices are wrong, bruh. I know Baylor is tampering. The players have told me. Point blank, period. Baylor graduate assistants are tampering on behalf of the position coaches and coordinators. Point blank, period. They've told me. He busted. You guys are gross, bro. And you're all going to get fired. Whew. I can't wait for Baylor's wheels to fall off. I do not like people with no integrity. I do not like people carrying themselves unethically. Shout out to Baylor. Shout out to Michael Trigg. Brashard Smith. Brashard Smith is fast as hell. Was just playing at Miami. He's doing good. He just had a down year in receptions, but he did good at kickoff returns. Go watch his kickoff return against A&M. He goes 98 yards. Touchdown. As they're blowing out A&M. This dude's got 4.4 speed, faster. He's a speed demon, bro. He's nice. Cool. Shout out to SMU. You just got a beast. And SMU's got that pipeline coming from Miami because of Rhett Lashley, former offensive coordinator at Miami. He just cashed in and got everybody. So he got Romello Brinson, Joker last year. He got a couple of running backs. He just got everybody. So, we're going to get everybody from Miami that they don't want. And Cristobal don't care. Cristobal's clearing out house and just recruiting his own guys. But Brashard Smith, go do your damn thing. Next thing I want to do is I want to go up here and look at some of the enrolled guys. I want to touch on all the ones so we can get it out of the way and we don't have to address any more enrolled. Same thing. These guys are just already taking classes. I've talked about a lot of them, but one of them I wanted to talk about, or some of them I wanted to talk about. Jaylen Brown over here just left LSU. Like I said, he got no playing time this year, no development, and he's going to Florida State. One of the fastest high school tapes I've seen. One of the very fastest high school tapes I've seen. He looks so good. He accelerates. He just hits the gas. Looks great. No stats. Only played in 3 games, and they never threw him the ball. I hope he gets an opportunity at Florida State. He's going to be there. I hope he's ready. But that's a fast kid, man. That's good. It's a good talent. And it's unfortunate for LSU to lose him. Real talk. Malik Benson, you guys know the deal. I'm on record for saying I don't believe in JUCO transfers. At least not at this echelon. I just don't believe in him. I think he sucks. I watched his tape. It's cool. One thing I'll say is him and Ferguson came over from Bama, and they got 5 other Bama players, or 3 other Bama players between the two of them, to come over. So a total of 5 Bama players have gone over to Florida State. So what? These guys couldn't play there. I watched this guy go be the #1 JUCO wide receiver. Rico, you don't know what you're talking about. He's 5 stars. I watched this guy get 13 receptions this year, 162 yards and a touchdown. It doesn't move me. He doesn't move me. The tape looks good against a lot of scrub DBs. It looks good, but it's nobody. It's like when I watch UFC fights. I do a lot of analysis on UFC fights, and I'm watching it, and I'm like, man, this guy's knocking out everybody. Who the hell's he fighting, bro? I'll never forget that, dude. I went to a fight camp, and I'm at the fight camp, and we're all in the locker room. We don't know each other. We're just changing in the locker room. But a couple guys knew each other, and I just flown in, and these guys are in the locker room changing, and the dude's like, yeah, man, I just got in a fight at the bar this weekend. And they're all bragging to each other who they kicked ass with and where they train and all this stuff. And I'm in there, and I'm just quiet. We're about to spar soon. I'm quiet. I'm like, all right, cool. He goes, yeah, I just kicked 3 dudes' asses all at the same time. It's like, all right, man, calm down, bro. You didn't beat up 3 of me. You can't beat up 1 of me. I don't care about 3 dudes you beat up. For the next month, we trained 8 hours a day. That dude was struggling to beat up 1 dude at a time. I laughed, man. I finished up being the top guy in the camp. I said, dude, what are we doing here? These guys ain't real. You think you're tough? You put your pants on one leg at a time like everybody else. I'm telling you right now, Malik Benson's highlight tape ain't real, bro. He beat 3 guys on a play. Yeah, man, all 3 of them dudes are scrubs. None of them dudes play on Saturday. And neither does Malik Benson. I hope he gets an opportunity at Florida State to prove me wrong. For his sake. Or he better learn how to read, bro. Because he's going to have to do some other shit. He's going to have to do something that requires comprehension and reading. He ain't a football player. I think his career is coming to an end. Just keeping it real. Elijah Surratt here, 6'2", 207, former zero-star player. 0-star. Earned it. We could be superstar, right? Super Gremlin. Let me tell you, this man right here earned it, okay? Goes to St. Francis. Goes to St. Francis Academy. That's a superstar place, right? Biv Poggi started it, whatever. Goes to St. Francis Academy. Gets no offers, really no FBS level offers. Then goes to St. Francis, the FCS program. Back in 2022. Balls the hell out. 42 receptions, 700 yards, 13 touchdowns. Says, yo, let me get into JMU. Transfers to JMU. 82 receptions, 1,100 yards, 8 touchdowns. Had an amazing year this year. And now he's at the FBS Power 5 level, transferring to Indiana. Guys, I got news for you, man. Indiana plays in a very tough conference. And I haven't looked at their schedule yet. But Indiana feels like the 3rd most improved team in the country right now. For me. And I study rosters. I study moves, bro. This feels amazing at Indiana. And I know that sounds crazy. But I promise you, the coaching staff, like the receiver corps, the 5 receivers at Indiana right now are so experienced in their career. They have over 580 receptions. Think about that. 580 receptions between them. You don't have this kind of experience in the receiver room. Over 7,100 yards, 40 touchdowns. Their 5 receivers have been playing for real. They're ready to line up right now. They're going to strap up and beat the shit out of everybody, bro. They got 5 real receivers. They got 6 real running backs. We don't even know who's going to stay. I did a running back episode. Go watch it. The episode 3 for running backs. I talk about it. They got 6. They have their 2 leading rushers returning, and they brought in 4 in the transfer portal. 2 of the leading rushers from JMU. Everybody, just pile in, bro. Let's figure this shit out. I love it. Elijah Surratt is him, bro. 6'2", 207. It's a recruiting miss, and now they have the nerve to give him 4 stars. 4 stars? Cole Rusk. Cole Rusk going from Murray State, one of the worst teams in the country. Murray State going to Illinois. Good for him. He's going to Illinois. I don't care what anybody says. He's going there because his father went there. So his dad used to be at Illinois. He used to be a wrestler at Illinois. So this is a legacy thing. But Tripp declared to go early. Tripp, 2-year starter. Tripp Ryman, the tight end for Illinois. He declared for the NFL draft. He'll be on a list somewhere for me. But, excuse me. But Cole Rusk filling in. It's a need. Illinois is in trouble, but they got themselves a big boy. 3rd team FCS All-American. He's got 2 years of eligibility left. 6'6", 252. I like the kid, man. Turn on the tape. He looks like a player. Ole Miss offered him. Sound familiar? A&M offered him. Houston, Cal, Louisville, Washington State, Colorado State, Tulane. Everybody offered this kid. I think he's good. There's Rico Walker. There's Rico. Speak of the devil. Rico Walker. What up, Rico? Rico Walker leaving Maryland, going to Auburn, 6'4", 250. This year, Maryland moved him from tight end. Remember, they got Corey Dykes. They got some other players. They moved him from tight end as a true freshman, and they moved him they moved him from defensive end to tight end. They needed a backup because C.J. Dippre left. Went to Alabama. So this kid goes and gets 4 receptions, 27 yards. And ain't doing nothing all year. Decides, man, I'm going to jump in that portal. He jumps in that portal. Auburn comes calling and says, hey, we'll move you back to defensive end. It's a kid from Hickory, North Carolina. So he's moving back down south. North Carolina is south, by the way. So he's moving back south, and he's going to go play for Hugh Freeze and the boys. Let's go see it. Defensive end. I think he moves back to defense. They haven't made anything announced. I mean, they got him here listed as a tight end. What I'm trying to tell you is there's an error on the website here. This kid should be listed as a defensive end. I think they move him to defensive end. He was a defensive end on the high school tape when I watched it. He goes up to Maryland to play tight end. I don't think he's coming to play tight end for Auburn. Let me explain my logic, okay? I'm sorry. I'm jumping all over the place and not explaining it clearly. I think the kid's playing defensive end. Because why would you transfer into a team that doesn't need tight ends? They still got Rivaldo Fairweather. They still got other tight ends. They don't need this kid. I think he's playing defensive end. It's me shooting my shot. I think I'm going to hit. Get at me. Leaving Ohio, going to Ohio State. What a mistake, but he's going to fill in for Cade Stover. Will Kakmarak, 6'6", 256. Remember, Cade Stover's leaving. He's going to the pros. He just ran out of eligibility. I do not think this kid is better than Jelani Thurman. Jelani Thurman, straight out of Hughes High School here in Georgia, just went up there. I think Jelani Thurman's better than this kid. He's been a starter for 2 years. They want to get some seniority in the room. I don't care. Jelani Thurman's better. But he's a good blocker, I'm sure. I watched him play in the MAC. He never wowed me once. Let's make this very clear. I watch every MAC game. I watch every FBS game. Never wowed me once. But here he is, going to Ohio State. And the last guy I'm going to talk about that's enrolled, because I've talked about everybody else. Oh, look, they got Trey Watson twice. Hey, they got him going to A&M and Washington. He's really going to A&M. Shout out to you, 24/7 Sports, for the error. But let's talk about somebody else going to A&M. Jabri Barber. 999 yards receiving this year. Led Troy in receiving. Little guy. 5'10", 174. Beast. Absolute beast. Think he fills the void that Evan Stewart just left. Him and Noah Thomas can do the damn thing. They're going to lose Micah Tease. I'm just saying. Micah Tease got arrested for drugs as well. Micah Tease probably suspended indefinitely last year. And I don't think he's ever going to get led back on the team. Elko don't play that shit. They got Ja'Day Walker. He came in from Grand Valley State. Shout out to Division II, the GLIAC, and Moose Muhammad. So they have some receivers. They got some weapons. They got running backs. I like Connor Wegman. I like the A&M offense right now. Jabri Barber's him, bro. He's him. And 999 yards ain't nothing to shake a stick at. When you hear about all these players, they all wish they could get 1,000 yards. This guy's done it. So I like it, man. That's my episode for tonight. I'm going to go to the chat one last time. We'll talk to you guys, and then we'll call it a night. Thank you guys for being here on a Friday night. I know you could be anywhere else. It is what it is. See what the chat says here. Thoughts on the new Michigan State defensive coordinator, Rossi. I like Rossi. I like Rossi a lot. Shout out to him. And shout out to Michigan State. I think they're improving as best they can. I've always liked Michigan State. I just like the underdog. I like the little guy, the blue-collar worker. Shout out to Lansing. Ain't nobody want to kick it in Ann Arbor. If you guys ever been to Ann Arbor, it's just a bunch of rich white kids. I can't relate. I'm in there. What is this street fair, bro? I don't go to no farmer's market. Record prediction for Colorado. The GOAT. The GOAT. Let me do something for you, bro. Let me do something for you. Record prediction for Colorado. Let me pull something up real quick. So if you go to my channel on YouTube, I have videos for days, right? And one of my videos is how many games will... Oh, man, it don't even show up. What's going on? Oh, it's more than 30 videos ago. There it is. There it is. Check this out. It says right here, Rico knows how many games Colorado will win this season. And the reason, it's only for members. You got to be an MVP to see it. And the reason for that is, pretty simple. There's a bet on FanDuel, and I can't let you guys get information for free off of FanDuel. So what I do is, if you go to my Patreon and you click on the collections tab, I'll show you guys here. You click on the collections tab, there's something called future bets for 2024. You click on futures bets. After you go to collections, the playlist, you go on futures. Who's going to win the national title? I've already told people. Who's going to win the Heisman? Who's going to win the CFL Grey Cup? Who's going to win futures bets? This is games. These are games that are being played. 3 games to start betting now. The over-under futures for 2024, Colorado. Who's going to win the Heisman? National champs, again, I talked about it. Futures bet. Who's going to win? How many games is Colorado going to win? Are they going to win more than 4.5? All this information I've already given to my MVPs on Patreon. That's all you got to do. You want to know the answer? You got to pay for it. And you'll know the answer. You go bet on it and win all your money, bro. That's the reality of the situation right now. You'll win all your money. But I can't give away that stuff for free. People pay for it. Thank you for asking, though. I appreciate you. It's my grind, all right? Do you think Prime is being straightforward on the defense coordinator hire? Your thoughts? I think there's some legalities involved. I think they're struggling to find somebody that coincides with his ideology and understanding that they're going to answer to different people, and there's other hands involved. I think it's not a job a lot of people want. If I'm being real, I think it's a job not a lot of people want. They're trying to find the right scheme to ensure Shiloh stays starting, to ensure it fits the personnel they've signed. I have a lot of theories as to why it hasn't been hired yet. Education requirements, pay issues, concerns, right? You got to raise the money to pay that guy. Who is it going to be? But they better get started soon because they got to start studying. And what are you working on in the spring without a defensive coordinator? Spring football starting. What are we doing? I'm curious to see Savell catch some passes. He'll be able to block better than Zico. Well, Zico didn't block anybody. Zico didn't play. What are we doing? What do you think about Tennessee's wide receiver room? D-Sup, I really don't think about Tennessee's wide receiver room. But we can pull it up. We can talk about it. I will tell you that very underwhelmed by their performances last season, just straight up. When you look at it from an expectation standpoint, because everybody was convinced, hey, we had a Biletnikoff winner. Can't we duplicate it again? And I try to tell you guys, no, you can't. You're struggling with what you're trying to do. It doesn't look good. And I don't think it's going to go anywhere. Now, Brew McCoy, highly disappointing season. But Squirrel White played great, and Squirrel White is a good receiver. Just not enough touchdowns in the red zone. Not enough targeting, but 67 receptions, and I see no one else. Do you realize that when you get less than 30 receptions, that means less than 2 receptions a game? Like, it really does. Because if you played 15 games, 14 games, a bowl game with the conference championship game, you're looking at 15 games, some playoff games, 15. Everybody's looking at 12 games. 12 games. I know some people play 15, but I'm saying you usually play 12, 13 with a bowl game. So 13 games times 2. That's 26 receptions. If you're a wide receiver and you don't have 26 receptions, are you even a wide receiver? That's my problem with this wide receiver room. They don't even use these guys. They don't use them to the best of their ability. How many wide receivers do they throw to? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. How many tight ends they throw to? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How's that possible, bro? How's that possible? You only have 5 tight ends. You have 14 wide receivers. Go to the roster. Go by position. Wide receivers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 wide receivers. And nobody is averaging 2 receptions a game. Nobody's averaging 2 receptions. This is why you can't talk to me about how good your wide receiver room is. You're not even being utilized. You're not effective. Nobody outside of Squirrel White is getting 2 receptions a game. That's terrible, bro. What kind of rhythm, what kind of contribution you making? That's gross. And that's why I can't sit here. When you said, what do you think about the receiver room? I don't. And it's not like Joe Milton played bad. 4-to-1 touchdown interception ratio. He played great. You can't play any better than the year before, right? Hendon Hooker's touchdown interception ratio. You can't do better than that. 27-2. You weren't going to go up from this. You weren't going to get better. This is the best a quarterback can play. 27 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Didn't go to the Heisman. You're not going to get any better in the quarterback room. Your receivers aren't going to get any better. I wish people understood what I'm trying to say. You used to use all your receivers. This is what I'm talking about. You used to use them all. Jimmy Holiday's gone. Tillman's gone. Right? Hyatt's obviously gone. But dudes hit the portal because they weren't getting used properly. But you can't do this again without a real passer. Now, you can get excited about your boy, but what I saw in the bowl game doesn't get me excited. Nico? Nah. I didn't get excited. I saw a running quarterback. Tennessee's got some work. Tennessee's got some work to do. That's how I feel about it. Some real work to do. I was mute. I don't think I was mute, man. I'm here. People can talk. I can see my volume just fine. Dog, Jalen, I wonder if they're going to just brother at Arizona. Just not sure. All right. Thank you guys for being here. I appreciate everybody for hanging out. Can't stand the trolls when they show up. They can all just go away. It's not a real big issue to me. I just want to remind you guys that I do this every single chance I get. But I mainly do this for my father, y'all. Y'all stay up now. Peace. I got to turn off that commercial. That was crazy. That can't happen.
Move I've only seen from time to time in my dreams. I do this for you. I do this for my mother, who's finally clean, no longer a fan. I do this for you. I do this for my sister, my wife and my kids, cause they part of the team. I do this for all the naysayers and haters who made me one of the greatest. I know it kills you inside, that's why I do this for you. I do this for my father, who I've only seen from time to time in my dreams. I do this for you. I do this for my mother, who's finally clean, no longer a fan. I do this for you. I do this for my sister, my wife and my kids, cause they part of the team. I do this for all the naysayers and haters who made me one of the greatest. I know it kills you inside, that's why I do this for you.
I do this for the kids who sit a bit outside the mix, who maybe cope through humor just to fit in for a bit, who never let the world know when depression's setting in. To all of those who know you, that impression don't exist, and it ain't counterfeit, it's just a way to counter it. I'm living things I dreamed about, I still encounter it. It ain't something that a cigarette or alcohol can fix, but all because of it, I flipped it quick, went on to write some hits. This a success, off another breath. This the first step in searching to be nothing less than be the best in what you do to prove their strength in being you. Learn so much in chasing dreams that I never would in school. Depends on where your passion lie, just no passion never lie. Life presents distractions, but your actions have to fortify. The things that you believe in have to scream it like a battle cry, and leave the ones who didn't looking stupid while they're asking why. Couldn't lie, I really do this for the ones I love. Those who treat the music as a vice and lyrics like a drug. Those who need advice on how to lift their spirit high enough to break out of the box they make of lives they know aren't good enough. Just because it's how it is don't mean it's how it has to be. This is what the uninspired testifiers fail to see. Jealousy results from being that which others fail to be, and if it means you're not with me, that honestly sounds fair to me.
I do this for my father, who I've only seen from time to time in my dreams. I do this for you. I do this for my mother, who's finally clean, no longer a fan. I do this for you. I do this for my sister, my wife and my kids, cause they part of the team. I do this for all the naysayers and haters who made me one of the greatest. I know it kills you inside, that's why I do this for you.
Do this for my mother, she'll be working for the summer. Do this for my father, cause these days I often wonder what my life would have been like if I was not adopted. To grow up in a home where I was treated like a problem. I don't know, it's just a guess. Your guess probably good as mine. Lucky that I grew up in a home that wanted me to shine. Lucky that I grew up around some mountains we were taught to climb. Without that inspiration, I don't think that this would be my life. Do this for my friends who've scattered all across the country now. I'm out in Sweden walking back through life so I can write it down. Make a living off the sound, so crazy to say out loud. I'm the biggest thing since Travis Rice to come up out the town. Sorry, gotta stunt a little. Used to have my dreams belittled, but it's all a part of it. I know people's minds are fickle, lines between reality and dreams I blur like faded nights. Come up in